to all of my loved ones. How are you doing? This is Love Marlene 411, and welcome to today's conversation podcast. You know, on this channel, we talk about trauma healing, self love, and all sorts of manipulative relationship, your ex, your parents, narcissistic people, disrespectful people. Because when we really tune into the things that we allow, the things that people do, and getting a healthy mindset, getting a healthy way of thinking, we are able to make better decisions. And that's what it's all about. That's where the healing comes in, that's where the growth comes in, and that's where your peace of mind ultimately begins. So, welcome to today's conversation. Today, we're talking about healing starts today. And what I have to say about that is that we have to ultimately be ready for it. Whatever happened to you in your life. And I know if you're like me, some really messed up things have probably happened to you in your life, from, your childhood to an ex to a friendship, you just being a good natured human being, you just being kind, we get taken advantage of. So the thing about it is that you have to be ready for change. That is the first point. You have to be in that space, ready to be able to make those changes that you need to change, like not allowing anger, or not allowing control or disrespect or manipulation. And that's what I'm saying. When we talk about trauma healing, we have to change the way we show up. We have to change what we allow. We have to change giving people so much of our power. Hi, Anthony. How are you? We have to stop giving people so much of our power. We have to be ready to change that. Not letting other people's anger issues or control or disrespect or the way they want to treat us to absorb into our life and cause us to be unhappy, to be, our mental health to get messed up. And it's so easy to happen if you have not done any healing or working on your inner child, working on the inside of you. And I have to tell you all that it's not an easy thing to be in that space of saying, I want to heal from it, because a lot of things that we go through from childhood up into this very moment, they're very hurtful. They're painful, especially people that you trusted. And that is what this topic is about. That's what this channel is about. Things that happen to us that are messed up, that we don't have to stay that miserable, angry person that was taken advantage of, abused, disrespected. We can have a new way of living and a new way of being. And I can speak to you about that because I did that. I went through that healing process, and I'm still a work in progress. I will be for the rest of my life, for some of the really dark things that happened to me in my childhood to my adulthood. The things that people do is really twisted and evil, but we don't have to be in that space and stay in that space, because if you never heal from what hurt you, if you never give yourself the freedom to say, it's time to have these conversations, it's time to put the cards on the table, it's time to not allow what somebody did to stop my happiness, my peace, me being closing off my heart from love, or closing up my heart from friendship, or closing off myself from the things that I deserve, because of the treatment that I got when whoever did whatever to you. And I just want to apologize. I just want to say I'm so sorry to anybody that has been taken advantage of, because that is what ultimately why we need healing, because someone trampled on your heart, someone stabbed you in the back, someone disrespected you, someone did what they should not have. So today's a new day. Every day we wake up and we have choices that we can make. We can make a choice that today I'm going to heal, I'm going to be better, I'm going to make myself proud, even if other people in your life, they feel all kinds of things about you. They don't like you, they think you're this, they think you're that, and you can't. We have to remove ourselves from other people's opinions and put ourselves into the space of saying my opinion is what counts. And if you're not feeling okay, loved ones, that's not all right. We should never stay comfortable in feeling sad, having poor mental health, feeling that we're unloved or we're unworthy because someone crossed the line, someone did something emotionally, verbally, sexually, financially, or spiritually to you. That's why today is the day. Healing starts today. So I want all of you to think about some things that has happened to you, and I'll give you some time to think about it. And if you're at home and you have a tablet or a phone where you can jot down some things, I want you to write down some things that has really affected you, affected your mental health, your ability to function, whatever. It could be you have trust issues. It could be you don't deal with a specific gender because of a specific gender hurts you. I don't deal with men, I don't deal with women, I don't deal with whoever, I don't want friends. And you will get into that mode if you don't not only heal it but forgive it. But we're going to talk about forgiveness in another conversation. But today I want for us to be thinking about ourselves. Hi, Riley. I want for us to be thinking about ourselves and what we personally need. What do you personally need, ladies and gentlemen, to be happy? That's a question that most adults don't ask themselves. What do I need to be happy? What do I need to have peace in my life and to be okay? And there's so many people, they go through their entire life. And for what I do in my line of work, I deal with people who come to the end of their life and they always have the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I should have forgiven this person. I should have lived my life. I should have stopped listening to what other people said about me. One thing that we all have is we have all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's what you do with those 24 hours. And that's why I said every day we get a new 24 hours that we can be happy, we can have peace, and all of those things. But it ultimately comes down to these um, four things that we're going to talk about today. And the first one is that we have to be ready for a change, to make a change. That you have to stop wanting to be angry for whatever someone did to you. You have to stop wanting to control, a certain outcome. I was in that space, waiting for the person who did all of these things to me to apologize. We can't expect for people to come to our side and give us what we need. We need to protect ourselves, we need to heal, and we need to make ourselves be at peace. We can't shift or control how other people do things. We can't make people love us. We can't make people do the right thing. And I know that that's not what we want to hear, especially when it could be your relative or it's your spouse, significant other, a friend, somebody that you really care about, people that should naturally love you and be there for you. What they say is the people who are closest to you is the ones that hurt you the most. And that is most definitely true. People who you trust, people who are close to you, the people that you expect to be a certain way, and it doesn't happen that way. Those are the same people that backstab you, take advantage of you, and abuse you in many, many different ways. So let's make that healing start today. I want you to think about some of those things, like I started at the top of this discussion. What are some things that you want to let go of? Whatever that could be. And when I say let go of, I don't mean like you can erase it, like it never happened to you, like the disrespect, like the abuse, like the disrespect never happened. No, it's that you can speak about it, you can acknowledge it, and you can put yourself in the present moment. Whatever happened in my past, even if it was yesterday, last week, or years ago, we can give ourselves a new permission because we're going to have a healthy, healing mindset. See, this channel is about trauma healing. And, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I am a life coach, because of some of the things that I went through in my life. And when I was looking around, I didn't have spaces. I wish that there was somebody who was talking about what I talk about, trauma healing, and stop trying to walk around with a plastic smile. Stop trying to pretend that everything is okay when you're not. But what is important to be able to heal is that you have to put yourself in spaces. You have to make your support group. You have to seek your own healing. That's what I'm saying to each and every one of you. You personally have to be seeking your healing. You have to want things to improve. You have to want things to change. Not that you're talking about changing other people, but you have to change your perspective, your outlook, how you choose to deal with it. And that is how we elevate. That is how we go to a space of peace. And there's scars, there's pain, there's so much things that happen to us that is so traumatic that no, we can't erase it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say, oh yeah, by saying I forgive you is going to heal it and you'll never remember it again. No, but you will get the tools that will help you to be able to walk through your day. So when you get to those times where you just feel like you're going to have a meltdown, or when you're feeling very depressed or discouraged, you know the tools so that you can stay in the state of healing. And one of those things that I always remind myself is that today I make a choice to have peace. See, maybe in the before all of what happened to you, we feel that we have to carry around this load, and we don't. You don't have to carry around that load. You can choose to get some help, whether it's therapy, life coaching, but it is all about support. So let's get into the next point. Healing starts today because we are going to make better decisions. Maybe in the past you were in this space to where you didn't know how to speak up for yourself. You didn't know how to advocate for yourself. You were very trusting. But today, you learn. You can either learn from maybe some of the decisions that you made previously, or you can keep making the same choices over and over again and keep scarring and hurting yourself. See, that is the personal growth, loved ones. That's where the healing takes place, is that you learn the lesson. Yeah, we learn the lesson and we improve and we become better women. We become better men. And what that does, in today's society, that when you heal from things, you don't go and scar your children or scar friends, or you know how to be a good friend and you know how to show up in business. But when you're carrying this, what I call it, a monkey on your back, or heavy things on your heart, or putting up this this persona, this fakeness, like, oh yeah, I'm okay, walking around with a plastic smile when you know that you're not okay. That's not all right. It's not okay to be fake. And don't listen to other people. See, the majority of individuals out there walk around with a plastic smile. They walk around fake and phony. So, of course, when they see you working on yourself, when they see that you don't do what you used to do, you communicate, you check people, you cut off negativity, you don't get involved in gossip, you have a positive support system. See, you're making better decisions. And why is that? Because you want to be healthy. You want healthy relationships. And you also ultimately want that healthy relationship with yourself. And it all starts, it's a circle. It all starts with the decisions that you make and how you will choose to treat yourself. Okay. And it's not based on you. See, maybe before, when you were making decisions, your decisions were based on your spouse or your parents, your kids, your friends. But the healed version of us, in healing from whatever it is that hurt us, and that healing starting today, is that now we make choices that is based on ourselves, based on you, based on your wants, your desires, your needs, your mental health, what you can afford, and not stepping outside of that, even if other people get upset. Because I know for sure, when I became a healthier person, I stopped making myself accessible. You have to cut off complete access to you at all times. There's a lot of people that don't deserve to have access to you. You got to cut that off. See, the healthier version of us, we have to make those better decisions. And it's not making a decision for your kids, spouse, this person, that person. First, you have to think about, am I okay? How is this going to impact me? How will this make me feel? How will I deal with this later? Is this something that I even want? See, that's a difference, okay? The next point is, to heal, we have to set boundaries. And I can't tell you all enough how important boundaries are. If we don't set boundaries, people will run over you, trample over your feelings. People will keep doing things over and over again until you cut it off, until you block them, until you learn to get strong enough and say no. Boundaries are not just for the other people, other individuals. Boundaries are for us. And when you learn that, when you know, I know what I want, and don't let other people tell you that's not what you want, that's not what you need. People who, we've enabled, that we know we've done that. We do things that we know we don't want to do, and then later on we complain about it. But see, it's a new day, and we're healthier, and we're not going to beat up ourselves for what we did previously. All we can do is control today. All we can do is be in this moment and do our best today. So today we're going to set those boundaries, and we're going to enforce them. We're going to put it out, and we're going to say no, and we're going to mean it. We're going to put it out there, not just expect for people to know how to treat us. Now, I have to say, therapy really taught me that you have to train people how to treat you. A lot of times as adults, we'll think, well, don't they know that's not how they should treat me? Or don't they know how they should talk to me? Or don't they know? See, if somebody already doesn't know how to be a friend to themselves, if somebody has not resolved some of that childhood trauma, or previous ex trauma, they have never dealt with it, they keep sweeping it under the rug, or pushing it into the closet, or pushing it down and ignoring it. That is the reason why you get adults that act their shoe size and not their chronological age. See, it is a big difference. So Let's go out there. Let's set those boundaries so we can heal. And the reason why it's important to set boundaries with people is that you don't have to worry about doing things that you don't want to. Like, no, you're not come. This is as far as you're gonna go. No, I don't have to answer your phone calls. You don't have to keep being a puppet to other people. That is a part of your healing. That's a part of your personal growth and development. And I have to tell you guys that it feels so good now that I can set that bound. I can say no. I can say that's not what I want to do. And I don't have the guilt behind it anymore. Now, when I first started in my walk of being a healthy mindset person, a positive person, a healed person, and not a person that keeps traumatizing others because you don't deal with your issues. See, we're not going to do that. Over here on this channel, we're accountable for ourselves and how we treat ourselves. So that's a new thing that I know I personally had to learn. Hi, Miss Betty. I know I personally had to learn how to treat me. I had to learn how to love myself. I had to learn that I was enough and I was worth it. I have to tell you guys that this healing journey, it's for the rest of your life. Maybe from the time you were a little boy or a little girl, you were put down, you know, physically, verbally, sexually. There's many ways that we can be abused. Financially, you know, being abused and not being treated the way that you deserve to be. And I'm so sorry that that is how some of us get life, but it's not over. We have a new day. We're adults. We can make better choices. We can make choices on who we select to be in our life, what we listen to, and also what is so important, the way we treat ourselves. That self awareness, that self care, it's important for our healing. Now, we're here at the final point about healing, right? So healing starts today, and the only way that we can heal is that we have to be firm. You can't be wishy-washy, you can't be teeter-tottering. You have to enforce it. This is what I'm going to do. So it means that you have to pause sometimes. Meditate. If you're a person of faith, pray, so that you can really find out, what do I want to do? What am I supposed to do? What do I want to do first? First, you have to ask yourself these questions and not allow other people to puppet you, to pull the strings at your heart and make you feel guilted into doing something. That's not healthy, loved ones. It's not healthy when we get guilted into love, guilted into doing things, or love bombed into things. That is toxic, and we don't have to keep taking it, okay? So, what you say to yourself, in being firm, you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day. And I remind myself every day I wake up, I will treat myself with respect and dignity. I will say no to the things I don't want to do. I will not let people treat me disrespectfully. Even when it comes to, a job, people that are older than you, there's always a way to put things out there to let people know that you do not accept that. You will not treat me this way. That's why I say you have to be firm and you have to enforce it, and not be a person like, I know formerly I was that person that I did not like confrontation. I did not want to tell people something. Like when someone would say something, I would be in my feelings, all upset, but I would keep letting them do it. And then I would go home and I would be, having an argument with myself or taking out that energy on my loved ones, when in the moment when things happen, you need to confront it right then and there. Take a deep breath. Even if all you say is, you will not disrespect me, I will not allow that. That is not nice. You will not treat me that way. And that's it. And then you can walk away. But when people get comfortable when you don't speak up for yourself, when you're always the yes woman or the yes man, or when people know how to manipulate, they know how and they know who to manipulate as well. But to heal, we have to speak up for ourselves. Keep your word to yourself. And that word is what is going to make you keep on healing. I treat myself with love. These are the things that you need to say to yourself. I will treat myself with love. I will take breaks. I will do things for myself. I will have my solo time. And it doesn't have to be hours at a time. Well, we'll circle back to this conversation about making time for ourselves and all of those things in a separate podcast. But I did want to say that. But we're going to end with this point, everybody. Don't let manipulation, projection of people's fears and insecurities, their disrespect control you. It's our life. It's your life. And when whatever happened, however long ago it was, a day ago or years, decades ago, it's never too late to heal. We're adults. And if you're not dealing and coping with things in the best way, and some of the ways that we know that we're not dealing with it in a good way is that you have vices to cover them up, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or food, entertainment. Another vice is that a lot of people have sexual addictions. There's a lot of things that people get into to cover the pain because it's just a way to make yourself feel good. But we want to talk about the healthier side. Let's get into having the conversations. Let's get into exercise, treating ourselves in the best way. Get into your faith, whatever that may be for you. But do what's best for you. Treat yourself as a queen or a king. Your healing starts today, but it's up to you. Thank you all so much for being a part of this conversation. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Happy healing journey. And let me know in the comment section if you're watching in the replay how you're healing and some of the things that maybe helps you to heal. We can all get through this together because healing is a lifelong journey. All the best to you, and I will tap in on the next one. I am Love Marlene 411, your channel for trauma healing, for those important conversations about abuse of all its forms: verbal, emotional, sexual, spiritual, financial. Because when we heal all of those things, we step into a happy, healed, and strong woman or man. Let's create all of those seeds and spread it out in our community so we can be better women or men, stronger communities, and more loving people. I will see you guys on the next conversation podcast. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate every single one of you. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and check out my other content. I have many other um, podcast conversations, and also we do the sip and chat. Me and my co-host Miss Nexie. We won't be able to tomorrow because of the holiday, but we will circle back. I believe we're going to do either Friday or Saturday. We're going to do the sip and chat, so stay tuned for that. I will put it on the community tab. Thank you all so much for your support, and yeah, we will tap in on the next one.